Indigenous Rights Radio, because knowledge is power.
A report from the International Energy Agency forecasts that mineral requirements for clean energy technologies will quadruple by 2040, with electric vehicles and battery storage creating the largest industry demand. The need for lithium, crucial for electric vehicle battery production, is estimated to increase tenfold over the next decade, with at least one new mine needing to begin operations each year. The rapid increase of mining for transition minerals such as lithium, nickel, cobalt, and copper increases the danger of further displacement and dispossession of indigenous peoples. Indigenous territories contain significant concentrations of untapped heavy metal reserves around the world. In the United States, 97% of nickel, 89% of copper, 79% of lithium, and 68% of cobalt reserves and resources are located within 35 miles of Native American reservations. Globally, we know that mining potentially influences 50 million square kilometers of Earth's land surface, with 8% coinciding with protected areas, 7% with key biodiversity areas, and 16% with remaining wilderness. According to the Business and Human Rights Resources Center, over a period of 12 years, there were 510 human rights allegations made against all 115 companies involved in transition mineral extraction. This figure represents only reported instances. 49 of the allegations involved indigenous peoples. In 2022, almost 40 of the attacks related to the transition minerals were against indigenous peoples or their communities. Development frequently occurs without the free, prior, and informed consent of indigenous peoples, and has significant long-term impacts. In the short term, it brings an influx of temporary workers that can lead to increased transmissions of COVID-19 and other diseases, increased criminal activity, increased drug and alcohol use, increased violence against women and especially indigenous women, and a degradation of local infrastructure. Other violations include forced migration, the murder of human rights defenders protesting development, and environmental threats to the land, water, and subsistence resources. As the world's demand for minerals needed for green and renewable technologies increases, indigenous peoples should be aware of any mining projects in their areas and organize themselves in order to be able to respond appropriately and demand that free, prior, and informed consent processes are fully respected, operationalized, and implemented. As we mentioned in the previous episode, free, prior, and informed consent is a right that is specific to indigenous peoples and which flows from our fundamental right to self-determination. It serves as a safeguard for all of the rights of indigenous peoples and is enshrined in international human rights standards such as the UNDRIP. Free, prior, and informed consent includes the right to meaningful dialogue in addition to the right to give or withhold consent to all projects affecting our lands, territories, resources, cultural heritage, and more. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please make sure that you listen to all 5 episodes. For more on the rights of indigenous peoples, visit cs.org and follow Cultural Survival on Facebook, Twitter, and listen to Indigenous Rights Radio on SoundCloud and Spotify.